It's Weird Medicine, the first and still only uncensored medical show in the history of broadcast radio and the longest running show on this channel. I'm Dr. Steve with my little pal, Dr. Scott, the traditional Chinese medicine provider who gives me street cred with the whack alternative medicine assholes. Hello, Dr. Scott.
Hey, Dr. Steve.
And my partner in all things, Tacey. Hello, Tacey.
Hello.
I'm I already said
How
that.
are you?
This is a show for people who would never listen to after 17 years. Almost 20 years, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Still screw up the opening. I'm an idiot. If you have a question you're embarrassed to take to your regular medical provider, if you can't find an answer anywhere else, give us a call, 347-766-4323. That's 347-POO-HEAD. Visit our website at drsteve.com for podcasts, medical news, and stuff you can buy I can't mention contractually. Most importantly, we are not your medical providers. Take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Don't act on anything you hear on this show without talking it over with your doctor, nurse practitioner, physician assistant, pharmacist, chiropractor, acupuncturist, yoga master, physical therapist, or whatever. All right, very good. Don't forget to check out Dr. Scott's website at simplyherbals.net, simplyherbals.net. Everything going okay over there, Dr. Scott?
Yes, sir. Everything's good.
If you, this is not an advertisement, but if you do order something from Dr. Scott, he'll send you some stupid weird medicine crap.
Yes.
We have stickers and all kinds of dumb. Just tell them you're a weird medicine listener.
Yep. Just let me know.
Do people ever do that?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, all the time.
All right, good.
All the time.
Good. All right. And check me out on Normal World. Been doing some stuff for them. I've got a weekly or bi-weekly, just depending on how we get the thing done. Ask Dr. Steve segment. I just did one on fecal transplant that derailed the show for a good 5 minutes. So that's always my goal now. Now, the next one I'm doing is female ejaculation. So,
there you go.
yeah, I just once and for all, in 3 minutes, I'm going to set the record straight on that one. So, all right.
All right.
Tacey, you got something?
I sure do.
All right. Well, let's do that. Where the hell is your Tacey's time of topics?
I need it.
It's Tacey's time of topics. A time for Tacey to discuss topics of the day. Not to be confused with Topic Time with Harrison Young, which is copyrighted by Harrison Young and Area 58 Public Access. And now, here's Tacey.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hello.
This episode is all about farts.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have 3 separate articles sent to me about farts this week.
Really? Just by coincidence?
Just by coincidence.
I know my niece Holly was one of them.
Yes.
Because she is the fart lover.
She does love her farts.
God, she's the one that sent us the book on farts, as a matter of fact.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So this article is entitled South African Pastor Farts on People's Faces to Heal Them.
Yay.
Of course.
Okay. Chris Penelope farts on congregants claiming that it's a process to heal people. A South African pastor reportedly farts on people's faces as a healing process to cure all spiritual and physical problems. Pastor Chris Penelope of Sevenfold Holy Spirit Ministries in Siandani Village, Limpopo, South Africa, has created a buzz online for his unorthodox method of healing people after a photo of him sitting on the heads of people, apparently farting on them, went viral.
I wonder how he controls that, though.
I don't know.
Do you think he's got like a will the farter sort of sphincter where he can suck air in? I mean, you have to be able to do it on command.
I don't know, and I don't think it says so here. An attendee visiting the church complained, when we come to church, it's because we need prayers, not to be farted on. However, the pastor has defended his methods, insisting that he is simply demonstrating the power of God.
Okay.
It started with Master Jesus when he stepped on Peter. It is a demonstration of God's power.
Wow.
The Bible doesn't say anything about Adam saying, God, you are hurting me, the pastor told South African Drum magazine. According to the pastor, farting near the person's nostril is important so that the healing power can enter the body to do its work. He said when they wake up from the deep sleep, they will tell you that they didn't feel anything. It is showing the power of God, and those who need healing are healed afterwards, and others get to manifest at that moment. Remember, when people try to tarnish your image, that is when he shows his glory. As long as souls are won into the kingdom, He who sits on the throne laughs at his enemies. That's what he said. I don't even know.
Well, you know what, though? I'm going to tell you this. It's less dangerous and probably just as effective as giving an antibiotic for a cold.
Well,
You know?
that's
Mhm.
true.
Yep.
So they get better the same amount of time, and you're not exposing them to antibiotics that the bacteria are going to become
They don't really
resistant to.
Yep.
Yes.
So good for him.
Many people wait up to 2 months to meet him to get farted on.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, I would
Some
do it.
even collect his farts in containers.
That does nothing.
Mhm.
done.
Well,
And so then here's this one guy saying these are exactly the deeds the Bible warned us against. It is said that at the end of the world, there'll be people who do things that will shock us. My advice will be for people to make their ways white with the Lord, for the end is near.
oh God.
And then he
Okay. Well, we're not.
consistently says he farts on people. He doesn't just fart, he heals. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Well, like I said, 90% of our patients would get better if they never came to the doctor.
Yep.
So he probably has a good 90% efficacy rate and a little bit of placebo effect too.
Scott also sent me
Yes.
an article, but it was I want to read the title, but it's very sciencey, and I don't want to read the article.
Oh my God.
Flatulence's surprising role in human production and women's mental health. So that's it.
Say it again.
Flatulence's surprising role in hormone production and women's mental health.
Okay, just read the conclusion.
Well, there's not one. It just goes blah, 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 blah,
Oh,
blah, blah,
this
blah.
sounds so good that you.
Yeah, I did read it.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
okay.
I read it. Hello,
What's
which
this-
is why I just.
It's a
Okay.
legit article, you know.
Okay. Summarizing the findings in simple
There you
terms,
go.
Devlin explained, we found that bugs make drugs.
Okay.
That is, we found that bacteria and I gut produce, oh, here we go, allopregnanolone,
Okay, it's a progesterone.
also known as brexanolone or Zulresso, an FDA-approved drug to treat postpartum depression.
Yeah, I've got here changes in estrogen and progesterone levels can cause flatulence in women. But this thing is saying if they have flatulence, that it's doing something positive
I
for them.
don't know. Yes,
Oh,
I think
seriously.
so.
God.
So anyway,
I think the take home message is a healthy gut
yes.
Yes.
creates a healthy mind.
Oh, dude, look who wants
That's
him a
what
bell.
That's what I think.
Look who wants him a
That's what
bell.
yes.
So, this is my part of the contribution for today's topic is
Lord and lady, do shabbat.
everything you wanted to know about
For both of
farting.
you. Yes.
Okay. So what
Okay.
causes flatulence?
Now we're on to something.
It's a normal physiological process. Occurs when the bacteria in the large intestine metabolize things in our diet that we can't metabolize.
Correct.
If we didn't pass gas, we would explode. And that's a gastroenterologist with Houston Methodist Gastroenterology Associates saying that.
Well, good for him.
Our bodies have two processes to remove gas, belching and flatulence.
Correct.
Mhm.
Well, you can absorb it too. When I had,
But
and it,
not as
depen-
quickly as you can get rid of
well,
it.
it depends on the gas. So, they used to use carbon dioxide when they did colonoscopies, and you don't readily absorb that. And you could have these thunderous farts afterward because they blow up your colon like a balloon and it's got to come out. Well, I took a flatus flute when I had my last colonoscopy, and they used nitrogen.
Oh,
And there was
rats.
nothing. The guy said, "Oh no, you're not going to have any flat." I said, "I brought this whistling butt plug so I could record it with a real, thunderous flatus, and there was absolutely nothing because I'd already absorbed the nitrogen into my body." But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, why do farts smell so bad?
Mm.
Most gas passed
Hydrogen
during
sulfide.
flatulence goes unnoticed because there isn't a smell. It may contain odorless gases such as nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and methane, but a small portion includes hydrogen sulfide, which causes it to smell
I'm going to give
like
myself a bell.
rotten eggs.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Oh, I said hydrogen sulfide. Yes, very good. That's the rotten egg smell.
Yes.
So what foods?
People think it's methane, Methane does not smell, nor does natural gas. The reason it smells in your house is they actually introduce an agent so that you will smell natural gas if it's leaking in your house. That's my understanding.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So, what foods and drinks cause gas?
Oh, I know, but go ahead. Yes,
Sugars,
please. Yes.
beans, beverages such as apple juice and milk, dairy products, fruit, sugar, alcohol is commonly found in sugar-free candies and gum. If you've ever made that mistake, you sure do know it.
And there's a fiber supplement called inulin, or I think it's the same as chicory root. And it's the one, it's in, well, I hate saying a brand name, but Benefiber. It's the one that you can dissolve in water and it's clear.
Okay.
And it is the most flatogenic substance I've ever seen. And we've talked about this before. When they were going to do the fart contest at Opie and Anthony, I had to come up with some way to make people fart, because there's no fun having a fart contest if everybody's just sitting there going, well, I'm fine.
Yep.
So I was going to give them 2 tablets of inulin the night before, and then 2, about an hour before the show. And they would have been farting like maniacs.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
How'd it turn out?
Well, they never ended up doing it. And I actually made a device for smelling them. And it had a face mask on one end, and then ventilator tubing, and then another face mask on the other end. And you'd put the one face mask up to your ass.
Oh,
that
goodness.
just makes me want to vomit.
And then they would fart into it. And then there's video of it. And I remember sending it to them. And then I remember being mad because they didn't give me credit for the fart smelling machine. But it was for the fart contest, which we ended up never doing. Nor did we ever do Proctopalooza. I'm still a little pissed about that. But anyway, maybe we'll do it at DabbleCon.
Wow.
Oh, goodness.
So if you are eating something and it tastes really good and it says it's sugar-free and it includes sorbitol, mannitol, or xylitol, be careful.
Oh, my God.
Or you will poop your pants.
The first time I went low carb, I went to GNC and I found these candy bars, and they were 0 carbs, 0 net carbs, and they used sorbitol. And I know better. We use sorbitol as a cathartic in the emergency room, to get people to just get poison out of their system. Sometimes there are certain ones you can give them sorbitol and it will just pass through real quickly. Well, I hadn't had anything sweet in forever, and I ate like 3 of those things. And on the way home, I just about soiled myself and filled the car up with liquid stool. That's how bad it was. So be very careful. Casey's 100% right about that.
So vegetables and whole grains. Now foods, if you want to have some smelly gas, you need to eat asparagus, beans, cabbage, coffee, dairy, eggs, onions, or prunes.
Really?
Yes.
And so if you stay away from those, your flatus will not be smelly?
Well, I mean, it just
because
says,
that's interesting, because I have noticed that I have 0. I could fart all day and nobody would ever know it if they were silent.
But they're not.
Well, you really don't eat any of that stuff.
Yeah, no. You remember the joke about the guy goes to the doctor and says, I keep having these silent gas eruptions from my rear end. It's just constantly just silent gas eruptions. And, I could be sitting in church and it's just, I have these silent farts. And right now I'm having silent farts. And the doctor said, well, the first thing we got to do is work on your hearing. Anyway,
now, when do you see a doctor about flatulence?
When it interrupts meals.
When it changes in the amount and frequency of gas pass, as well as abdominal pain, then it's time to talk.
Okay.
What conditions can cause excessive gas? Lactose intolerance, celiac disease. Other conditions such as abdominal adhesions, abdominal hernia, dumping syndrome, which would explain a lot in our family.
Yeah.
Cause changes in how gas moves through the intestine.
You probably ought to explain that. But
Well,
one of our sons had dumping
has
syndrome.
dumping syndrome.
And let's explain what that is. It's where undigested food is dumped into the intestinal tract before it's ready. And when you do that, if you don't let the saliva starts to break down starches, There are enzymes in saliva that will start that process. If you put a little piece of bread in your mouth and leave it there for a minute or two, it'll start to turn sweet. And that's the starch being broken down into sugars.
Right.
And so you've got to break this stuff down. If undigested food or, food unprocessed by the stomach ends up in the bowel, then all kinds of bad things happen. The bowel wall gets colonized by bacteria. You'll get cramping because the bowel is, it just can't absorb stuff, and it gets pissed, it gets irritated, inflamed. You'll have voluminous, smelly flatus on top of everything else.
Lovely.
Yeah. Diabetics can develop gastroparesis, which causes abnormal functioning of the stomach. One of those symptoms is excessive gas.
Yeah.
And then side effects of medicines sometimes.
Sure. Metformin being one.
Why does having gas hurt? When people feel bloated and experience gas pain, it is not necessarily caused by a person having more gas, but by the gas becoming trapped and able to move through the intestines properly.
Correct.
Can you hold in a fart, or is it bad for you?
Oh, yeah. I remember Lady Diagnosis asked this question.
Yeah, it's going to come out one way or the other, it says. Holding in gas because you're in public only causes it to build up, resulting in abdominal distension.
I just had a memory.
What?
I remember all of a sudden, it's as clear as day. My mom sat me down and said, "Now, Stevie," she called me Stevie, "if you have to pass gas, either hold it or go out of the room." Now, for her to have to sit me down to tell me that means that there was a problem. And I remember saying, "Well, if President Kennedy comes here, do I have to, go out of the room?" She's like, yes, you do. It's a dumb question for a kid to ask. It's also like, so there had to have been a problem. I don't remember the problem, but I remember her trying to come up with a solution.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
very similar
incident there to
the my favorite sign at Dollywood Splash Country, which I've said before on the show. It says double inner tubes are for an adult and a small child. Maximum weight not to exceed 500 pounds.
Jeez.
So they couldn't get up the hill. They couldn't walk up that hill to
if
go
you
down.
have to say that an adult and a small child not to exceed 500 pounds, it means that they've had that problem.
Yeah.
Why would they put the sign up?
No, you're right. Yeah, we speaking of flatulence in public places, when we were up in Bar Harbor, at a restaurant looking out over the ocean, sitting there eating lobster, there's this lady and I don't know if she was hard of hearing or what, but she did the same thing, just leaned over, cocked her hip up, she let one fucking rip right on the damn this hard, outdoor chair,
so it vibrated and reverberated.
It was awful. Rob looked at me, she goes, "What the fuck?"
My partner was British, and he would fart all the time, say that was just normal. I don't know. When we were in England, I had never noticed anybody else passing gas. I think it was just him.
Bizarro.
Yeah.
But to hike your hip up to raise it, that attention to you.
Yeah.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
That's saying something.
Does the act of farting spread germs? In case you were worried about the internet
I'm
removers.
sorry, Casey. Let me interrupt you for a second. Scott just reminded me of something. I have a friend. I will just say his name is Kirk. And he was 10-time indoor national archery champion. And he was a machine. He didn't miss an X for 10 years.
Wow.
And, he was people were very intimidated by him. He's a big guy, and he had perfect form, and he could reproduce it every time. He never missed. So at the very finals of that tournament in Las Vegas, they'll put 16 people up, and then 8, and then 4, and then 2, and then, the winner.
Okay.
And when they had, and everybody draws at the same time, and then they have to shoot, right? Well, all the 16 were all in a row, and they pull back and they're ready to let fly. And Kirk lets out the biggest, most disgusting fart you've ever heard. I mean, it was just massive.
Oh, geez.
And And all of a sudden you hear all these bows going off and you hear arrows hitting the ground.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
It was hilarious. And then you have some guy like 5 people down from him just yelled out, "Some nasty son of a bitch." So
what happened? What happened with the shot? Did he make
nothing.
the shot?
No, he made
his
his
shot. Oh, how
yeah,
funny! How
of
funny!
Of course.
That is hilarious.
I would see people when they'd get up to 4, and people who had never missed an X all day would start hitting in the 8 ring and stuff. It was just nerves.
Yeah.
And he would come back to me and say, it's all a mental game.
Yeah.